Okay, what's up, everybody? So, my name is Gene Boykin. I'm the founder of the GoGetter Family Real Estate Investing Academy. And this is my new Creative Finance Mastery series. All right, I put it together for the holidays, man, for my people. We just had to Become the Bank challenge. And a lot of people got a lot of value out of that and pretty much changed the trajectory of their real estate investing career. And that's what I'm here to do because creative finance is your superpower. Okay. So if you learn creative financing, and there's many different forms of creative finance, you will literally have superpowers when it comes to real estate investing, and you'll no longer um, require a bank for financing. All right. And then a lot of times you don't even need a lump sum of money out of your own pocket. All right. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the creative finance equations. All right. We need to know some numbers. That's going to determine how good the deal is, because I'll tell you guys this: most people don't know about creative financing. Okay. So you don't find good deals. All right. You make them. Yeah. You make them. So, guys, I'm going to show you the numbers you need to make a great deal when you use creative financing to become the bank. So go ahead, hit that like button. And if you're new to my channel, you feel like I bring you some value, I want you to consider subscribing. All right. Or you can just be a player about it. Hit that subscribe button.
I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters. We some go-getters. Hope you a go-getter. Let's get it. I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters. We some go-getters. Hope you a go-getter. Let's get it. I'm a go-getter. Hustle to the end. We some no-quitters. Knock it out the park. We for show hitters. Right, left hemisphere. That's a dome splitter. Yeah. Control our own destiny. Make moves. Cultivate whole legacy. Creative finance. Bring more ecstasy. The right ingredients. Now that's a dope recipe.
Okay, y'all. So I'm super hyped to be back on YouTube. All right. It's been a minute since I've done a live on YouTube. So if I've got some of my old faithfuls that be watching, go ahead and drop some flames in the comments for your boy. If you're back, hit that like button. All right. So tonight I'm going to give you guys some game on how you run the numbers. All right. We've got our really Become the Bank equations. Now, this is the thing though, guys. I wanted to talk to you about the timing. All right. Doris, what's up? So I wanted to talk to you about the timing of real estate and what's going on right now. There's a lot happening in the real estate investing industry that and when we're in a change, right? So it comes in cycles, guys. Okay, there goes my dog Chaz right there. What's up, man? So Lavanya. So real estate, it's cyclical. All right. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. All right. But the one thing that happens with real estate is that when it goes down, all right, when it goes down, if you can ride that out, if you can ride that out, your real estate always goes up higher than than it was when it started to decline. Now, what also happens is this: real estate investors, people in the real estate industry, they get scared, man. I'm talking about they tuck tail, all right, because most people don't know how to become the bank. So they're leveraging money. Martin, all right, what's up, homie? Tamika, how are you? So most people, they don't know about creative financing. So they're using traditional means to buy real estate. So in a situation like this, I'm going to show you guys a graph from Freddie Mac. All right. Freddie Mac. And Freddie Mac is the government institution that insures mortgages. Right. And then also they buy mortgages on the secondary market. So banks really go off of, are they going to buy this debt? And guys, did you know, real quick too, I didn't even plan on doing a live tonight, but I heard something earlier today and I was like, you know what? I got to get on here. I got to do a live on YouTube, man, because it's crazy to me, man. It is crazy to me that money is really made up. Okay. Now that it's not backed by gold, it's just made up. It's made up debt. It's fiat currency. So what has happened is the interest that these banks charge on the money that they're loaning out, right? They're loaning money out to the government, the central bank is, right? And then you've got banks, that local banks, right, that loan money out to us. Now, that debt that they create, it's really artificial. What is real, guys, is the interest that we pay on that debt. And the reason why it's real is because loans are front end heavy. All right, they're front end heavy with interest. So you're going to pay the interest on that loan that you took out before you start paying a majority of the principal. Okay, so you're paying the money that they're charging you for borrowing the money. That's what you pay first. All right, and that's what you work for. So let me show you guys this graph, man. This is nuts right here. Now, this is from Fred, which is it's an app, guys, where you can get real estate statistics, and it's short for Freddie Mac, right? The government institution. So these are government statistics. Now, this is the 30-year fixed rate mortgage average for the interest. Now, I want you to look at something. Do you see in the 80s, right? 1980, it was at about, what is that? About 16 and some change percent APR. And then it shot up in 82. Well, that's when subject to and creative financing really took a turn for the better. Okay, for the better for investors and for the people that needed it. But that's the highest interest has ever been. Now, there have been some predictions that interest is going to get near that level again. Do I believe it will? I don't think so. It will do something ridiculous to the real estate market, because understanding what this interest does, these interest rates, and remember, guys, all this debt, it's just made up. It really is. And that's how we become the bank. So I want you to come all the way over here to the current day. All right, so you got 2020 right here. Now, as you can see, we're in 2022 right now. So 2020, it was still going down. And then if you look, it kind of leveled off right here. That's when the real estate market was at its height. So follow me on this, guys. Interest rates are super low at that time, but people are buying these houses at all-time record high prices. All right, all-time record high prices. So yes, they've got a low interest rate on the debt that they took out, but they bought these houses for so high that when the market starts to correct itself, which it is attempting to do right now, which is why you see it go straight up right here, straight up. And we're at almost around 7. It's getting close to 7%, 7. And I think we're at a little bit over about 7.725% interest, which, man, that's the highest it's been in a long time, a very long time. That said, when those interest rates go up, okay, it costs you more money on your monthly mortgage payment for less borrowing power. Okay. So in 2020, you could borrow $100,000 and pay $550, $600 a month on that mortgage payment for $100,000. Today, $100,000 is going to cost you closer to $800, okay, per month. So it's really going to be a buffet for people like us when you know creative financing, because people's property values are going to drop. All right, they're going to drop, and these people are going to be underwater. Now, people panic that don't know creative financing. That's why I love creative financing, because we don't panic in these scenarios. Okay. Mike Show in the building. Okay, you keep switching that name up on me, bro. What's up, man? Okay, good to see you back on YouTube, dropping these jewels. All right, I appreciate it, dog. So this is the thing, guys. In this market turn, right? These people that bought last year, year before, even the year before that, their property values are going down, but the money that they owe on that property is still up here. So the value of the property is going to drop below what they owe. They will be underwater. There's not an investor really on this earth that can do anything with that using traditional means, because you owe more than the house is worth. Now, we're not worried about that, because we're strictly worried about cash flow. Cash flow rules the day here, y'all. So let's look at how you add that up. And okay, now, do you guys know, do any of you guys know how to calculate cash flow? All right, if you do, drop a muscle or some flames or some sort of emoji in the comments if you know how to calculate your cash flow. What else we got? Equity, your comps, after repair value. I'm about to give you guys some game right now. Let me share my screen with you. See if anybody dropped it. Hey, you still don't need to know in the house. What's I haven't seen you in forever. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me share my screen, give you guys these numbers here. Now, this will help, especially the people that are here that were just in the challenge. And then we've got some people from the first challenge. This is definitely going to augment what you learned in that first challenge, or in the challenge itself, I should say. Make sure you guys can see this. Yes. Okay. Chaz, I know you know. Janice, I'm learning from you. All right, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, I got my crew in the building. Okay, guys. So let's take a look at these numbers here. I love numbers, guys. And it really is third grade basic math here. All right. Just don't feel overwhelmed because it is a house. All right. Equity, guys. Equity, equity to me is a fallacy. All right. Because we cannot eat equity. We can't eat equity, which is why we focus on cash flow. All right. Oh, and I forgot to say, guys, if you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm going to be going live in the challenge Facebook group to answer some different questions at about 7:15. But if you have questions about this, drop them in the comments, and I'll answer them best I can. So this is how you calculate equity, and then we're going to touch on why I think it's a fallacy. All right. You've got your after repair value. Okay. Your after repair value. And then you subtract your after repair value. You take the existing mortgage, the existing debt on that property, and you subtract it from the after repair value, and you have equity. Equity. All right. So if I owe, 100,000 on my mortgage, and the property's worth 150,000 ARV, that is $50,000 equity. Now, that is our negotiating room, right? Because we can pay that equity out over time. We've got to subtract repairs from that as well, but that gives us some wiggle room, right? They've got some equity to play with. And also, see, we want to keep some of that equity in there to play with on our exit strategy when we sell, so that we've got some room to maneuver. Now, I don't want to get too complex, but depending on how you sell, right? If you sell on terms, we can sell at a higher price. All right. I've got 2 houses on the market right now. I just took a look at my leads. And I put up some Facebook posts, and then in the Facebook groups, right? That's all I've done. I'm about to drop these flyers off tomorrow. I've been scouting, dude. There's Latino restaurants, because I got the Spanish flyers for my houses. Latino restaurants, they got some newspapers and stuff like that in the front. Oh man, I'm about to load those things up tomorrow. I'll be driving all day around town. Anyway, equity. This is why it's a fallacy, though. Say you do have 50,000 in equity. All right. The only way that you can capitalize on that equity is one of 2 things. You either sell that asset, so you will no longer own it, but you cashed out on the equity, right? Or you take debt out on that asset. The equity in that asset, you take it out as debt. You have to repay it, right? But if you fall on hard times and you can't repay that loan, right? And there's a lot of different loans, right? Home equity loan, home equity line of credit. And there's a difference, guys. There's a difference. Forget about that home equity loan. Use a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. That is better because it's revolving. It is revolving debt. It will build your credit score instead of beating it up. All right. So listen to me on that. HELOC. I don't have much time to get into all that. Anyway, so you've either got to sell that asset, or you've got to borrow against it to capitalize on equity, which is why I feel like equity is a fallacy. All right. It is. It's a fraud, man. So I don't focus on equity so much as I do the cash flow. All right. And I know y'all hitting that I know y'all hit that like button for your boy. Get us in this algorithm so that we can get this knowledge out to the people. Now let me get to the next equation here. Cash flow. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is king, guys. That is what is going to pay you. Residual income. Now, depending on the way that you sell, that's going to determine how passive that income is. Because if we just strictly rent the property out, right, we're still responsible for maintenance and repairs. Now, we've got some stuff that we can write up in our contract that, say that we're not on a rental, but most states, the landlord is absolutely responsible for maintenance and repairs. Okay. So this is how you determine your cash flow, though. You take your average market rent, All right. And then you subtract the monthly mortgage payment on that property. And then also, now you get really technical. I didn't want to get too sophisticated here, but you subtract your monthly expenses too. And that gives you your monthly cash flow. That is your profit after your monthly expenses. So that mortgage payment that we take over, we look at the average market rent and we look at that existing loan. Boom, we subtract the existing loan from the average market rent. That gives us our cash flow. Now we want to be in a space of, 300 is really the lowest I like to go. I'd rather be at 350. Okay. But 300 to 350 a month cash flow is bottom, right? Bottoming out. I make a little bit less than that on my first subject too, but I was so excited to get it. I was like, you know what? I'll make this $273 a month. I'm not even tripping. I want to get a deal done. And the guy wanted to sell, right? So I went on ahead and did it. So you can make a judgment call, but that's how you've got to check your cash flow, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your monthly cash flow and you multiply that by 12, right? There's 12 months in a year. That's your net annual cash flow. That's what you're making off of that one property. So then you can really get a good projection of where you want to be with your monthly cash flow to really give you financial freedom, right? Once you get a house, you're like, okay, $350 a month, monthly passive income. My tenant's responsible for the maintenance and repairs. So boom. So if I get 10 houses at 350, that's $3,500 a month cash flow where I'm not doing nothing, sitting back, chilling. And then we're not even now. I'm going to get to some other numbers here. All right. So $3,500 a month, that's decent. But when you start looking at these different numbers here, and I'm going to get into the good number here. I think it's the last number for us. One of the good numbers. I mean, all of these numbers are good, really. So is this helping you guys out? I hope that it's helping you guys out. So, drop some flames in the comments, man, if this is helping you guys out a little bit. I don't know if you guys knew these equations or not, but these equations are super important. The numbers, it is a numbers game through and through. All right, through and through, because one, it's a numbers game. And yes, we have to do our equations. We've got to know how much equity we've got. We've got to know how much cash flow we got. We've got to know the comps, the ARV, all of that stuff, our maximum allowable offer, all that good stuff, right? But also it's a numbers game in the fact that the more people that we are in front of, that are our target audience, right? Distressed home sellers, distressed home owners, the more people we're in front of, the more houses we will acquire. Okay. The more houses we will acquire. We're looking at every 50 leads, every 50 warm leads, right, that come to our desk. We're closing 3 of those with creative financing. All right. 3 of 50 with creative financing. And then, it's about 1.8 to 2 is the national average with like cash buys, and then wholesaling. Wholesaling is a little less. Ooh, okay, y'all dropping them flames. I like it. Okay, Doris got the fingernails. That's right. Lavanya was out there getting to it. Salim. Okay, Janice. Mike. Oh, I'm going to talk about that comment again you put down a little bit later there, Mike. Okay, guys. So let me get back to this. Let me put this back up. Whoops. Oh, it is up. Okay, so our comps. This is how you calculate your comps. You've got to know how to run comps, guys. Comps are going to give you a baseline of the number that the amount that your house is worth. If you don't know what the average price of the houses that sold in that neighborhood were, well, how are you going to come up with a number for your property? So what we do is this. The comps are the average price of houses sold within a 6 to 12 block radius. Now we prefer that it's 6. All right. Now just some instances, you just have to go out 12 blocks because there's not enough homes in the area. Right. Okay. So there's just that. Right. But we want to be at 6 blocks. Then it's the houses that sold within the past 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months. We prefer to be at 3 because it's just a better indicator, right? There, a large amount of time has not passed. Now, when you get up into 6 months, that's about the industry norm. The last 6 months, they're looking at the sales. 12 months max is just, hey, the houses aren't selling over there. Maybe the market has slowed down, right, to a crawl, which it's slowing down now. but 12 months is the max will go out. So what you do, you can run comps on PropStream or on Zillow, right? Realtors use the MLS. I think they got some other, fancy software, but you can run them on Zillow for free, and you can put in your parameters. Now on your comps though, I like to be exact. So if we've got a garage, boom, I want houses that sold with a garage. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. With the square footage, you're going to go give or take 100 each way. So let's just say your house is 1,000 square feet. Your comp indicators are going to be 900 to 1,100 square feet then, because you're at 1,000, right? So you can do it on Zillow for free and get great numbers, right? So those are your comps. That's your average sale price for the neighborhood. All right. Don't forget, guys, drop your questions in the comments if you guys have any, and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. All right. If you feel like I'm bringing you some value. Now, guys, you're probably wondering, right? How do you come up with your rent? Like, what do I charge a person for rent around this thing? Oh, let's get to the after repair value first. I thought rent was next, but after repair value. Now, there are a couple things here that are variables. The variables in your after repair value are going to be your costs, even regionally, for particular repairs. Usually kitchens have an average, $5 to $7, $5 to $7. Shit, I wish $5 to $7. Run it. We get new kitchens and everything. 5 to 7,000 for a new kitchen, brand new. We're talking with your appliances and everything. Bathrooms, on the other hand, are about 3 to 5,000, and it just depends on your, how well you fix it out, right? The property, because you've got basic, your lowest level, then you've got medium, right? And then you've got more custom, high end, and then custom, high end, and then custom. What you do is, guys, now with your house on your fix out, I'm going to tell you this: don't be in a medium neighborhood doing a custom build out on your updates. Don't do that, guys, because it's going to cost you money. You end up over fixing the house, and that is a thing. Over fixing, you put too much money in the repairs. So this is how you get your after repair value: the fair market value of the property after repairs have been completed that bring the property up to a condition as if it were in a new condition. Okay, so your after repair value, you are going to take your comps, right? And you're going to subtract your repair costs though. So if you got, and you can check that in PropStream. And then my favorite website, some of y'all should know what my favorite website is. I hope, because I've already tricked you with the paper and pen once, probably, right? Go get that paper and pen, www.google.com. Google, you can put your area code in and just see what is the average cost for a kitchen remodel in blank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 area code. Boom. It'll give it to you. So don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Now, we just had our challenge, and there were some people that were talking about wholesaling, wanting to know if we can wholesale too. In which, dude, you can wholesale. This is why I love creative financing. Oh my goodness, I love creative financing because there's so many exit strategies when you're doing creative financing. So if you acquire, you just have to be a creative problem solver in your mind. So if you acquire a property using a lease option, right? Using a lease option, you can do a sandwich lease option, get the tenant in there, and we get the option fee, right? We take the option fee, the down payment from our buyer. Boom, right? And then we can sell our position in that we can assign the option. We can assign the option. So the tenant stays in there, right? The tenant stays in there, but we have another buyer for our option contract. All right. So now they're making the payments to the seller. They're making the payments to the seller. We can stay in the middle and get the payments from our new buyer, right? So we have 2 people we assigned it to. Listen, I don't want to confuse you guys here. We've got our seller. Boom. They agreed. We got it on a lease option. Now we've got 2 buyers here. We've got our tenant buyer that's living there, right? And they give us a down payment, which isn't, a down payment, which is our option fee. Okay, so we've got a nice little chunk, 5, 7, 10,000, right? Then Then we assign the option contract to another investor. There are a lot of buy and hold investors, especially right now with the market shifting. This is why I say it's a buffet, guys, with all of our different acquisition strategies and disposition strategies on the exit strategy. Dude, you can't lose. So you just have to deal with the different types of investors in situations and then tenant buyers. So buy and hold investors would love to get in a contract right now where they're making a little bit of monthly cash flow and they get the option to purchase this property in 5 years and pay that balloon payment. They're going to love it. They're going to, because the value is going to go up. There's no doubt about it. Like there's just no question. That's just what real estate has always done, and history repeats itself. So your wholesale or your cash offer, guys. Wholesale or your cash offer. 70% of the after repair value, all right, of the market value. So if it's worth $100,000, the ARV is $100,000 of that property, and you're going to do a wholesale transaction or a cash offer, you are going to offer 70%. So 70% of 100,000 is 70,000. Then you subtract the cost of repairs too, right? So if you've got 10,000 in repairs that you need to make on a property that's valued at 100,000, right? The after repair value, we'd start at 70%, and then we subtract the 10,000 from 70,000. We would be at blah, blah, blah. We would be at 60,000 on our offer price, cash offer and wholesale offers. And if you didn't notice there, these percentages on this type of offer are just so stringent. You have to, I mean, you can, vary, give or take a couple points either way, right? If you're lower than 70% and they're willing to take it, awesome, right? But when you get up to 72, 73, even 75 is really, really pushing it, because a wholesale deal, you've got to sell that property outright. And only thing you're doing is you're eating into your assignment fee. You're eating into your assignment fee if you have to continue to lower that price. All right. Do we have anybody on here that has done a wholesale transaction? Let me see. It's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna answer some of these questions here in a minute. Let me get to the rent. Now, this is how you determine, and this is a industry standard right here. How you determine your monthly rent, right? What are you asking for the rent? All right, you can't just pull numbers out of the sky here. All right, so rent, usually the industry standard is 1% of fair market value. 1% of fair market value. So if the fair market value of a property is 200,000, the expectation is that the monthly rent on that thing is going to be 2,000. Okay, 2,000. Now, one of my mentors, Lou Brown, he teaches something in addition to the overall asking price, and thus the monthly rent payment that we'll receive is he just calls it the wow factor, right? The wow factor. So, and a wow factor doesn't even really have to be like, wow, that's amazing. And no, it doesn't even have to be like that, right? Like the houses that I'm selling right now, there isn't a thing on those that need to be fixed, not a thing. Now, when we're dealing with creative financing, understand the types of buyers that we're dealing with. Okay. The types of buyers we're dealing with normally, usually don't have that great of credit, right? So, and then 70% of the population has less than perfect credit. Now, with interest rates rising, it's harder to get a mortgage, guys. Does anybody know what that means for us? If it's harder for people to get a mortgage, what does that mean for us? I want to check and see if everybody's with me here. If it's harder to get a mortgage right now, right, a traditional mortgage, what does that mean for us when we become the bank and buy these houses by becoming the bank? If it's harder for people to go out and get a traditional mortgage to buy a property, what does that mean for us? Does anybody know that? Very good, Doris. Very good. Yes, Joseph. Yes, Joseph. So what it means is, right, Our pool gets bigger. Yes, it does. You still don't need to know. Yes, it does, y'all. Let me see. Better for us to sell a rent to own. Yes, absolutely, man. Look at Lavanya. Lavanya said, "Good times." You better bet that bottom dollar is gonna be good times. Lavanya's too much. Okay, so when it's harder for people to get a mortgage the traditional way, it makes our pool of buyers that much bigger, right? Because yes, people want to become homeowners, but they can't go to the bank and get a traditional mortgage. Therefore, us providing home ownership to the community with no credit checks, right? Good, bad, or ugly credit. Now, we are checking things. We're not just saying, oh, here you go, right? We've got paperwork for that. But also, we want to know if they've ever had a foreclosure, a car. Have they ever had a car repossessed? Have they ever filed bankruptcy? How long have they been living at their current place? Are they renting that? Are they buying that? Right? There's these questions. We do have to do somewhat of a background check. Now, we're not just saying, here you go. You know what I mean? Although some people would love for that to happen. Trust me, I'm selling these two houses now, man. You guys should see the leads that I got. Some of them are good and but see, you guys, this is high level, man. This is a high level tip because I got a lot of people on here watching right now that I know and that are in the Go-Getter family. So I'm gonna drop this gem on you. Um, so I've got a selling website, right? I've got a buying website. I've got a selling website. So, acquisitions, and that's dealing with people that are in distress. So that's what that is targeting. And then my selling website is homeownershiphelpers.com, where we're listing the homes that we have for sale, our rent to own programs, things like that. Well, when we list a home for sale and we put it on Facebook, we put it in the classifieds, we're making flyers, whatever that is, and people are coming to our website and they're filling out the submission form because they're looking for a home. Well, we make sure to ask them particular questions, right? What neighborhood they're looking for, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how much monthly payment can they afford, how much down payment do they have. So now, guys, I've got a whole buyers list. I've got a whole buyers list. And when you get those nuggets in there that have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 to put down, that's what they put on their submission form. We're going to reach out to them and pretty much create a shopping list for them, right? We know they have that 30,000. So now when we're out doing our lead generation, or we have leads coming to us, we know, okay, I've got a buyer over here that wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom on the north side of town. So when I get one come in, or I go find one, I know I got $20,000 right here to play with. That isn't coming out of my pocket because I've got this buyer ready. Okay. So we put them in a program where we can get their down payment up front. Right. And we'll return that down payment to them anytime for any reason, but that'll put them in our VIP to where they'll get a house, right? First thing, they're getting bumped on the list. So it just depends on the market, how well that runs. But now you've got your whole list of buyers and they came to you. So yeah, they didn't want maybe the property that you had available, but okay, you're going to keep getting more properties. So you got those buyers ready. And then if they've already bought, well, hey, do you know any of your friends or family members that are looking for a property? Right? And that's where you can put your virtual assistant to work too. Boom. I'm talking about a machine here. Now, this is my favorite part. Absolutely my favorite part. Option fees. Option fees. Do any of you guys know what an option fee is? Yes, Joshua Bay says that's called qualifying your buyers. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Joshua. I love it, man. Y'all making me smile tonight. Does anybody know what an option fee is? Anybody know? Anybody know? Okay, guess what? I'm gonna tell you. Damn, I've been on here 30 minutes, man. I gotta go. So option fee is our down payment that we get, but we cannot, guys, and I repeat this, do not call it a down payment, y'all, in your paperwork. Do not call it a down payment. It must be labeled as an option fee. They are paying us a fee for the option to buy. All right. So to be able to rent to own from us, and they have that option to purchase it, right? So they pretty much got the first right of refusal. They're paying us a fee for that. Now we want our minimum option fee to be 7.5% of the minimum of fair market value of the property. 7.5%. Now, I've got different colleagues around the country, even mentors that will do on different types of transactions. They do different amounts. So if they do a rent to own on a lease option, they'll do as low as 5%. If they do a rent to own with an agreement for deed, seller financing, they're doing 10% and above, right? Me, I like the 10% range, 10% and above. So my last property, let me see, I'm going to do the math here just really quick. 215,000 times, wait, nope, I got it. $40,000. $40,000 down payment divided by 200. Oh my goodness, I keep hitting the wrong button. 41, 2, 3 divided by 215,000 equals. So I got a down payment last time on a house of 18.6%, 215,000, $40,000 down payment. That's 18.6%. That's why I say, the 7.5%, depending on how you acquired the property and your personal money reserves. Okay. If you've got a little bit of money to play with, it's cool to get a 7.5% option fee, a down payment, right? And maybe you're still out of pocket 5,000 or something on that house, right? So say you spent 20,000 on the property, right? On acquiring it and doing a little bit of repairs. And then you find a tenant buyer, right? And your tenant buyer pays you, we'll say a $10,000 down payment. So you're still $10,000 in this property, right? Out of pocket. However, you're making that monthly cash flow on that property, right? So you've recouped half of your money already, 10,000, boom. And then in a situation where like that, where if you're out of your pocket that much money, right, 5 figures and up, I would say I wouldn't want to cash flow anything less than 400 to 450 a month on a property like that, right? That way you can recoup your money relatively quickly, and then you're operating in the black after that, okay? And just so you guys know, 2/3 of people will not, all right, they will not exercise that option to buy. When it comes time to pay that balloon payment, they just can't do it for whatever reason, right? We don't want to set people up for failure, but they are unable to pay that option fee. So we get that house back and we get to do it all over again. So guys, I hope those numbers helped you out. Let me answer a couple of questions before I got to get up out of here. Ooh, we got some comments in here tonight. I love it. Damn, y'all. Okay. Show up and show out. Love it. Love it. All right. Y'all showing out for your boy. So I won't rest until I can become a member of the family, but I know the only way I can do it is to get a deal under contract first. Well, hey, I was just telling people at the Become the Bank Challenge, you still don't need to know that. But I just got in Lou Brown's mentorship not long ago, right? And that costs a lot of money. Some people think my mentorship is a lot of money. Not even, man, close. But when I first met him in Orlando, he wanted me to get in his mentorship then, and I couldn't. I didn't have the money. I just didn't have it. So, I had to get a couple more houses, and then I was like, shit, let's go. I'm ready. And still learning a ton, man, from the master. I just fired my realtor. I'm selling my property. It's paid off. I'm trying to run the best comps to get my fair value. My first time, by the way, selling a property. LOL, pray for me. Janice, if I can impart anything on you, anything, it would be this. Do not, and I repeat, do not sell that property outright. That is an asset. That is an asset that will grow in value. Okay. And also you can cash flow that thing. So you're going to save yourself on closing costs. You're going to save yourself on realtor commissions. And then you'll be able to get that down payment, right? That down payment, the option fee. So if it's a really nice house, Janice, it doesn't even have to be a really nice house even. You can still get, 10, 15, 20, 30. I've gotten $20,000 down payments, 30, 40,000. I've seen a $60,000 down payment in my city, and I live in Sioux City, Iowa. Like, it's super small. So what I would recommend, Janice, is that you do a rent to own scenario, especially if you own that property and it's paid off. You're going to cash flow all that except for the insurance and the taxes. Okay. So you put somebody in there rent to own, they're responsible for the maintenance and repairs. You get a down payment, you sell that home. I'm just throwing numbers out here because I don't know the numbers. You sell that home for 150,000, you get a $20,000 down payment. Boom, that's 20 in your pocket. That's that option fee that goes in your pocket. You can spend it the minute you put that check in your account, you can spend it. It's yours. Okay. Then your buyer owes you 130,000. You charge them interest on that. When we sell on rent to own, we are their bank. We are our buyer's bank. So you are going to charge them. You're going to give them a 30-year mortgage. You can give them a 30-year, 40-year, whatever you want to do. Interest rates are high right now, Janice. So when interest rates, the market interest is the market interest. But when we're selling to people on seller financing, it's just a given that the interest on seller financing is going to be higher than what the market interest is. Okay. So it's a little over 7% right now, right? Or getting right there. So you could charge 8-9% and it's cool. You're good. So, man, you can get paid off that, Janice really could. Yes, sir, Martin. Yes, sir. They said HELOC is hard to get these days. Most banks won't do it. That's what I heard. Which is just, yeah, maybe what the region, right? But any sort of credit right now is harder to get because of those interest rates. They're cracking down. And guys, I said this on Chris Haskins' interview that I did. I said it, man. It's in the plan, procedure, and strategies. The intro to that document that I created. It talks about how banks then, when I wrote it, were loosening their credit belt, right? They were loosening them. They were refinancing these homes at a low interest rate because they wanted to lock people in for the next 30 years because those are their good borrowers. The good borrowers, they're making their payments. So yes, we'll refinance you, of course, because you've been making your payments. So we're going to refinance you at a lower rate, but we're going to lock you in for 30 years now. So then when interest rates start to rise, they're locking out the poor credit risk, right? The higher credit risk people are getting locked out of that and can't get a mortgage. But their good credit risk people are already locked in for 30 years. I knew this was going to happen, man. You got to be able to read the market. So HELOCs, yeah, they're harder to get. They're not impossible, but it's just all credit right now. Mike Show, all credit is really difficult to get. Oh, I came at the right time. I was just running comps. That's awesome. Do you do creative financing for apartment complex? So 100,000,000%. You better believe it. Oh my goodness. Listen, creative financing and seller financing, right? Seller, that would be usually with a like an apartment complex, multifamily. It's going to be a seller financing deal. Okay. And you can do that a number of different ways. You know, you can subject to that thing. They use more creative financing with multifamily and commercial than they do with single family, what we're doing. Right. So absolutely, Salim, you can absolutely do creative financing with apartment complexes. And you're going to pay super low interest, right? If you're doing a seller financing or creative financing on an apartment complex, your seller, the owner of the apartment complex, is usually a savvy investor. Okay, so they're going to know about interest and charging you interest and, you know, option fee, option period, right? When's that balloon payment due? How long they want to make it for. So I've heard people doing 50-year seller financing deals at, 2% interest. Right. So you can just make a lot of money. Have you talked about what paperwork we would need to have after agreeing to take over the mortgage? So I do have a subject to masterclass on my YouTube channel, man. Check that out. I go over the paperwork actually, Patrick. And I forgot to tell you guys to put where you're from on here. I said, no, but I'm going to sell my whole house. Oh my goodness. Let me see. How are we finding the buyers to deal with? So there's a lot of different ways that you can find your buyers, Doris. You can get creative, right? There's just so many ways to find buyers. The one good tip that worked for me when I couldn't find a family to buy one of my houses, I had to find an investor. I went and I got the Section 8 landlord list from in my city. Okay. Now, a high level tip here, that is not a county office. Okay. Section 8, that is not a county office. It is a state office. So like in my city, where you go get food stamps, Medicaid, like DHS, Department of Human Services, that's where Section 8 is. Okay, so that's where you get it. It's a state office, right? Because Section 8 is like federal subsidy. So you'll get that there wherever you are. But you get that landlord, that Section 8 landlord list, boom, instant buyers list. Those are their landlords, they're investors. Also, Facebook groups are critical. Facebook groups are critical, but you just got to watch out for trolls and spammers, stuff like that. But you still, Facebook groups are critical. You want to be operating in your local markets, Facebook groups. All right. Another good way to get legitimate buyers is looking at your houses that are for rent. Houses that are for rent, we're going to look at the landlord of those houses. They're a buyer, they're landlords. You know what I mean? So we get real creative. There's a lot more ways to do that. Let's see here. I was a wholesaler first, but I came your way. I'm always a wholesaler first, but I love this sub too. Hey, I get it, man. You can get that check too off of wholesaling. Absolutely. I ran into a family that is selling 3 pieces of property. All of them are paid off. They want to move, so I'm working. Hey, I love it, Lavanya. So Lavanya, that's going to be all seller financing as well. Okay, so I'm putting something together for you guys right now for the holidays. Right, this is the Creative Finance Mastery series, so I'm going to be giving you guys as much game as I can on this, but I'm getting a group together, membership group, right, where you guys can come in there, and I'm still working out the schedule, but we're going to have times where I'll go over members' questions to answer their questions. You can all come in there, things like that. So I'm going to get the details worked out, but it's going to be, everybody will be able to afford that. Everybody. Now, if you can't, now we have to have a serious talk for real. So I got you coming soon. So that way, Lavanya, if you're still dealing with that property, boom, you come in there, ask your questions, whatever questions you may need, because that's a seller financing deal. So you could sub to it. Well, no, you can't sub to it because there's no debt on it. So it's going to be all seller finance on that. Now you can get the mortgage for it. You can absolutely get a mortgage for it and get the deed too, right? So however they want to do it, you've got to just find what their problem is, Lavanya. Make sure you find what that problem is and then find what their goal is. When you take over a property, does the bank ever call the mortgage in? So they can. It's called a due on sale clause. However, if you do your paperwork right, if you do the proper paperwork, you've done the proper notifications, they cannot call that loan due. They cannot call that loan due. It is a federal law. 1982 Garn St. Germain Federal Depository Institutions Act, okay, states that estate planning, right, they cannot call a loan due for estate planning. So my mentor, right, on both of them really have never had a loan called. Lou Brown, he's been doing this for dang near right up on 40 years. Never had a loan called. Never had a loan called. I hear about a lot of people out here that do things differently. And hey, do it differently. To each his own. But if a person comes to me, a go-getter family member comes to me and they're like, oh my God, I just got a letter from the bank. They're calling the note due. I got to pay them in 30 days or they're going to foreclose. This, that. First question I'm going to ask is, whose paperwork did you use? Whose paperwork? Because that absolutely matters. Boy, y'all was going in tonight. I love it. No, I don't. You still don't need to know. I don't have a different Facebook page for my selling and my buying. Although that is a great idea. I need to. I've got a separate website. So I definitely do need a different Facebook page, because I was just telling the people in the Become the Bank Challenge that, hey, if you can't get a website, whatever, right? I showed them my first website, which was pitiful, but Facebook is the next best thing to a website, that Facebook business page. And then all you're doing is you're putting up, you can put up tips, real estate tips, little did you knows, just to build character in the marketplace, guys. Build character in the marketplace. And then when you have your houses for sale, boom, you list them on your Facebook page as one of the ways, right? As one of the ways. So that's a great question. Great question there. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mike Show, on that. I'm not sure what you're referring to. However, you can change a contract. All right. There's addendums. All right. Addendums, which is an addition to the contract. And then there are amendments. An amendment to a contract is a change. All right. So just got to differentiate. And if you're at title company, they'll differentiate for you. They'll be like, well, we need an addendum for this, da da da. Or you're going to have to do an amendment for this, blank, 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 whatever it is, right? They'll let you know because they've got to execute that deal properly for you. So let's see here. Oh, Martin, I love it. I love that question. Oh my goodness, I love that question. Seriously, because a lot of people would get confused here. Now, Martin, it is not a black and white question where it's like, yes, you do and no, you don't, right? So it's really going to depend on the circumstance. Now, if you do a lease option and you know, you said and you're taking over monthly payments on that lease option, really how much of that existing loan is left? And then is this a credible, like, is this another investor that you're dealing with, right? Is it another investor that you're buying from? If so, you use your discretion to pay them directly, right? Me personally, I am always buying problems, man. It doesn't even matter who the seller is. It's the problem that I'm buying, that I'm solving. So I always take that over. I always take over that the mortgage bank account, and I pay that directly. I pay that directly to the servicer or to the lender, or I will use a servicing company as the go-between. If a seller is worried about their debt to income ratio, then we use a servicing company, which only costs you $17 a month for the servicing company. So you'd pay the servicing company, and then the servicing company would pay the lender, right? And then they'd be able to provide proof that somebody is servicing that mortgage for our seller, thus taking that mortgage payment off of their debt to income ratio. But great question. You're going to use your discretion on that. But me personally, I'm paying that bank directly. Do I sell the land trust documents? So I do sell the land trust documents, but only in my full course. And to get access to that full course, you've got to go through the Become the Bank challenge. However, small little caveat here. It's the holidays, y'all. It's the holidays. So I'm getting some stuff put together now for you guys. That may just be a piece away, right? You might just be a piece away. You might just need like the subject to purchase agreement documents, right? To get a subject to transaction done. You might just need that, or you might just need the land trust documents. Or you might just need the lease option documents. So for the holidays, y'all, I'm going to get something put together for you by the end of this week. So if you're not able to get in my mentorship or to get the whole course, you can piecemeal it together. Because honestly, guys, that's what I had to do initially, was piecemeal this thing together and see the way when people purchase my contracts, the least I give them with that is obviously the contracts, but also video tutorials going over those contracts so that you get a better understanding. Man, when I bought them contracts, what, dude, it was just the paper. It was just the contracts. I mean, it wasn't the actual just paper, but it was on a digital file, but it was just the contracts. There was nobody to ask questions. There was no videos to watch to find out this and that, which helped me in the end because I had to look all that stuff up. Oh my goodness, it was a lot of work. Yes, Doris. Yes, absolutely. Real estate solutions. We are real estate professionals. I was talking to one of my students, and then I've done this before as well, where a consultation fee. I've charged a consultation fee when I've had to either prepare documents, right, or give a consultation where I've got to go over some information and then advise a person on what to do, a family on what to do, right? And that is real estate solutions. We are consultants. You can be a consultant, all right, and you can label yourself as a consultant without having to have any sort of certification. Okay. So you just want to make sure you know what you're doing, right? But real estate solutions, absolutely. I remember that was the first name I went out with into the marketplace was 1E3T Holdings, Real Estate Solutions. Real Estate Solutions. Okay. We got New Jersey in the house, Dallas. I'm gonna be down that way now. Texas, I'm loving Zuli D. What's happening? Cleveland, Ohio in the building. Love it, love it. Columbus is moving and shaking too. But God forbid if the house burns down, if I choose to rent to own, would they pay or will I lose? No. So your insurance would cover that. Your insurance would cover that, Janice. And depending on your documents, right, with our contracts, you're gonna get that insurance money, right? Now this is the thing, Janice, with this though. So I gotta make sure I'm clear here. You sell your house on rent to own. So they've got a number that they owe you in 5 years. Okay. So we'll just say that it's 100,000 that they owe you in 5 years. And God forbid, it burned down, right? They still owe you 100,000, but say the house is worth, 150 now, 160. And insurance cuts a check for 160,000. Okay. You're going to get the 100,000 that you are owed. And anything now, depending on if it's a lease option, they won't get that additional amount. But if it's an agreement for deed, if you sell it on an agreement for deed, anything extra above what you are owed on that contract would go to your buyer. Okay. But you will get your money. Absolutely. Yes. And the best part is you control the insurance, but we add that insurance payment, monthly payment, onto our tenant buyer's monthly payment. So we're really not paying it out of our pocket. So if a rent to own buyer is making monthly payments to a seller on a lease option, how do you ensure the seller making their mortgage payments to their lender? So the only way to do that would be to, well, I guess there's a number of ways to do it. I got to get some of my kombucha. So there's a number of ways to do it, Martin. One, you can have access to the online banking so that you can see that it's paid each month and you just go in there and check it. Or kombucha, y'all. Stuff don't taste the greatest, but it's good for you. Turning a new leaf here. Oh, guys, I'm going to be in Atlanta too. December 9th through the 11th. I will be in Atlanta. All right. So I'm gonna be down there. Yeah, December 9th through the 11th. I'm gonna figure out a day where we can have a meetup if I got some people down there. So I'm gonna have Cheryl put something together so you guys can let us know. And it's gonna be on. So you can ask for proof, right, Martin? That they show you proof each month. You can have access to that online banking, or you take over the online banking yourself. That way you are ensuring that it is paid. And again, it's just based on your discretion, right? You've talked to your seller. Are they in a distressed scenario, especially like financially distressed? And hey, they just want to move on, but maybe you want to buy this on a lease option due to whatever circumstances, right? Well, if they have not been financially responsible up to this point, then we're not going to trust that they would be financially responsible moving forward from today. So we will take over that bank, that mortgage bank account. So, oh my goodness, we got a freaking spammer talking about dating. Get your ass up out of here. Anyway, I wanted to sell it because I want to reinvest in other things, etc. I do need to pay off debt. Oh, I get it. Trust me. No, I totally get it. I totally get it. About rent to own in there as well. Correct. I always talk about rent to own for sure. 3 most important things to master. Ooh, good question. Good question. 3 most important things to master in creative financing. Really, it's the 3 systems, right, that I teach, and they each touch on something different, right? So the first thing is, what types of transactions can you do using creative financing? Right. So you want to know what types you can do, and then you want to know the details of each type of transaction. Right. So you got sandwich lease option, land contract, agreement for deed, subject to, you got wrap mortgages, you've got options. There's other ones too, novation agreements. So you want to know the types of transactions. Okay. Then lead generation, how to find off-market deals? How do you find off-market deals? And then third is how do you I'm trying to think here how to say this. I guess it would be negotiate, right? But we negotiate differently. So it's establishing credibility, educating them, and then negotiating those numbers, right? But that's all a negotiation. Okay. So it's the types of what types of transactions can you do, how to find off market, no competition leads, and then how do you talk to these sellers? How do you negotiate with these sellers? Those are, in my opinion, three most important things. Great question, Salim. Great question. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look out for you guys, man. I'm gonna get something put together for Christmas. How can I call you to talk more about this? I think you're right about renting to own it. Janice, it is going to be super difficult to for a consultation. Because I don't do one-on-ones either, just because time is limited. But well, the way that you can do it, my Become the Bank challenge, I have a 1 hour question and answer session before each day of the challenge, right? And then I have my inner circle mentorship. All right. But yeah, consultation, reach out to my email. Let me put it in the comments here, and we'll see if there's something we can figure out. But you're definitely in a good space, I would say, right? Owning that home, have and not having the debt on the home. So depending on how you want to structure that, psh, hey, there's a lot you can do. Tell us more. Tell us more about what, Doris? I don't know what you mean. Tell you more because there is a lot more to learn about this. That's for sure. We just went over the equations tonight. Okay, so went over some numbers on credit with you guys, and you guys understand that 97% of the money out here, money in America, 97% of the money out here is debt. 97%, y'all. So when you are able to buy a house by taking over the existing debt and not taking out new debt, right? You're buying it by taking over the existing debt. And then when we sell it, we create the debt. We, the bank, the Go-Getter family bank, create that debt. It puts you in a position of power and then also influence, and it makes you seem like you have magic. You know magic when it comes to real estate. You are an absolute magician in real estate. Creative financing is the best set of tools in real estate investing, hands down. Hands down. There is not another way more powerful to invest in real estate than using creative financing. Straight up. Straight up. Okay, so Doris, I'm getting ready to go do the live in the Become the Bank Challenge group. Okay, so I'll be over there to answer those questions for you. And what time is it? Oh my God, it's 7:08. I gotta go. I have a FHA property I have been in going on 3 years. Can I sell it with creative financing? You'll want to check because if you got down payment assistance, there may be a term that you have to live in that property so that you don't have to pay back whatever assistance they gave you on the down payment. Okay. So some of those FHAs, when they give you that down payment assistance and other assistance, they give you a term and they're like, okay, you've got to live here for, 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years. And what it'll do is say it's 7 years. Okay. So on year 3, say you borrowed 30,000, right? They give you $30,000 down payment assistance. On year 3, that 30,000 is going to drop down to, like 20,000, 25,000. And then each year it'll go down more and more until that year that they said, the amount of years you had to live there. So you want to check that just to make sure. Okay. So guys, I got to get up out of here. I'm going over to the Become the Bank Challenge group to talk to them about a special offer that they had, and it's running out this evening. So guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Make sure you hit that like button to get us in this algorithm, man, so we can get this game out to the people. This is life changing. I'm telling you, man. Guys, I'm flying first class to Atlanta. I was like, dude, not because I'm bougie, just because I heard somebody say like, hey, fly first class, even when you can't really like, do like I can't fly first class all the time. You know what I mean? I could, but that'd be foolish of me. Super foolish. But they're like, it's a whole new motivation. So I was like, you know what? The tickets were relatively cheap, inexpensive. So I was like, hey man, round trip, first class. Let's see what it's like. Never would have thought of flying first class, man, ever before I found this stuff, man. Life changing in every facet. Every facet. If you put in the work, focused, intentional activity, and then you take action and you execute, man. Life changing. Anyway, guys, hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, I want you to consider subscribing. If you feel like I brought you some value, or you can just be a player about it, hit that subscribe button, y'all. But I'm gone. Till next time, let's get to it, y'all.
I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters. We some go-getters. Hope you a go-getter. Let's get it. I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters. We some go-getters. Hope you a go-getter. Let's get it. I'm a go-getter. Hustle to the end. We some no-quitters. Knock it out the park. We for show hitters. Right, left hemisphere. That's a dome splitter. Yeah. We control our own destiny. Make moves. Cultivate whole legacy. Creative finance. Bring more ecstasy. The right ingredients. Now that's a dope recipe.